This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, access to Lookout Point from Aversham Highway is curtailed. The NZTA says it'll make travel faster and safer. Support wanes for an electronic voting trial in next year's local body elections. We find out why. And the city hosts its first Peace Festival on an International Day of Peace. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. Major traffic changes are in place on the Aversham Highway for the last stage of its $45 million redevelopment. Drivers can no longer turn across the motorway at Lookout Point, where an overbridge is being constructed. And despite the temporary restriction, it's aimed at making travel faster and safer for all road users.
Changing course. Project managers of the Aversham Highway redevelopment restrict traffic movement at Lookout Point, preventing motorists from turning across the highway where a median barrier is being built.
This is a temporary arrangement. It'll be in place for about 5 weeks, and the key things are that you cannot turn right into Mornington Road or turn right out of Mornington Road. So that can represent quite a detour, so we need people to plan where they're going to and from, because it may not be the best way to go.
This is the last stage of the 5-year project, which has a total cost of about $45 million. It'll be complete by Christmas, but motorists will only have to wait another month before the overbridge opens up access in every direction.
If you were coming from town and you wanted to turn right into Mornington Road as you normally do now, what you would do instead is you'll turn left off the highway first, loop around and onto the bridge, and then onto Mornington Road. And vice versa, if you wanted to head from Mornington Road to go towards Mosgiel, you would use the bridge first and then turn left onto the highway.
There's expected to be about 2,000 daily traffic movements across the overbridge, with about 26,000 vehicles travelling the southern motorway each day. And the changes being implemented are all to improve safety for road users.
The main reason that we are constructing the bridge is so that we can remove the right turns, because they were the most dangerous movement at this location.
And with no one turning across the motorway, traffic flow should also be faster. This section of the highway will have a 60-kilometre speed limit, and the project as a whole will be celebrated with a grand opening on the 19th of November. Rosie Mannins, 39 Dunedin News.
Residents are being invited to have their say on the government's latest petroleum block offer. The City Council will lodge a submission with the government and wants to represent the views of residents. Staff are calling for feedback to be included in the Council's formal submission. Residents have until the end of the month to submit to the Council. The block offer allows petroleum companies to bid for exploration rights to assess natural stores of oil and gas. That's opposed by many residents and the local protest group Oil Free Otago. The government doesn't allow residents to lodge their own formal submissions. The City Council's heeding public calls against its involvement in an online voting trial for local elections. Councillors have voted not to spend $165,000 taking part in the nationwide trial, and that's a relief for some residents who say the costly move comes with significant risk.
A digital debate. City councillors are warned by local web developers not to volunteer for a nationwide online voting trial. It would allow residents to vote in next year's local elections electronically. But there are fears the new system could be susceptible to hackers and election results altered.
So there's the risk of spending money on something which doesn't deliver what we're really trying to do. And there's also the risk of an election being interfered with, votes being prevented, votes being falsified, or the democratic process otherwise being messed around with by people who could be doing it for profit, for political agendas, or just for the lols.
Burgess says online voting creates a significant number of security and technical risks, and he says even though the idea is being pursued to make voting easier, the real problem lies in participation.
The most likely risk is that we'll spend money on a process that doesn't work for us. I believe that the Council's intents, which are really good intents, are to increase participation and to engage more people in the process. But online voting isn't the answer to that.
He says countries that have trialled electronic voting systems have put millions of dollars into ensuring their security. And if those systems can be hacked, then there's every chance a local setup will prove to be vulnerable.
When Washington DC or the Netherlands or Australia, who also had significant security issues, when those people are throwing budget at it, there's no need for Dunedin City Council to spend $165,000 trying their hand as well.
Burgess says the introduction of a hackable voting system would take away residents' right to democracy. And if the only evidence of voting was online, residents' right to secrecy would also be compromised. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Police are investigating the burglary and vandalism of the Royal Albatross Centre, which has left staff reeling. 2 people allegedly broke into the centre at the tip of Otago Peninsula in the middle of the night between Friday and Saturday. They smashed 3 computer screens, forced open tills and stole $600 in cash. Thieves also damaged 2 mobility scooters on the property. Staff are assessing damage and say the centre, which is fully insured, will remain open. Police will review CCTV footage to identify suspects. An inaugural local festival is connecting cultural groups with a common cause. Hundreds of residents have taken part in the Peace Festival, the first of its kind in New Zealand, and organisers are celebrating its success on what is the United Nations International Peace Day.
Community in the name of peace. Hundreds of locals are at Forsyth Bar Stadium for the city's inaugural World Peace Day festival. The event's peppered with musical performance, speech and dance to entertain the crowd. And creative director Kara Hundleby says it's the multicultural aspect that makes the festival so vibrant.
The importance of trying to achieve peace is bringing people together. And I think we have to bring the whole picture together in order to be able to even speak about peace. If we include everyone in the conversation about peace, then we're more likely to head towards the right direction.
September 21st marks the United Nations designated Day of Peace worldwide, and Hundleby says it's all about bringing together organisations and groups from around the city who support peace. And that includes local Māori.
A really, really important focus was bringing Manua Whenua in, the tangata whenua of this land, to present the peace and talk about peace from their perspective and from their bloodlines as well, and the work that their forebearers have put in place as peace work in this land.
Hundleby says people often see world peace as an unrealistic possibility, but with about 200 people taking part in this year's event, she says there's ample support for the cause. And the WOMAD Style Festival is a chance to get as many people as possible thinking about peace and unity.
We've got stalls from all around the world, we've got crafts, we've got massage, anything that's supporting the kaupapa of peace. So this celebration is a celebration of multicultural diversity in Dunedin. That's the kaupapa of piecing together for this event.
Hundleby says she's thrilled to see everyone come together and celebrate the city's multicultural diversity, having fun while also paying mind to the important topic of peace worldwide. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, we take a look at the city's plan to improve energy efficiency and what its flow-on effects could be. And a successful local event prompts 2 bodybuilders to reassess their goals.
We can't guarantee what people will do once they leave here, but we can sure as hell try to make it better. We're making headways, especially with our offenders going out and the integration between our industries and the outside industries, like the real stuff. Society just needs to give these guys a chance.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices are just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, you're guaranteed a treat.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Hundred and 28 tracks, dynamic automation, dual faders, and totally digital. This is state-of-the-art music production. The SSL Digital Console. You'll find one in the BBC studios in London, another at CBS studios in New York, and now one at the University of Otago. It's a good reason why our sound now sounds even better. My name is Maddie Parkins Craig, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Welcome back. An independent commissioner has declined a local quarry operator's application to amend his existing resource consent. Steve Clearwater wanted to expand his quarrying operation at Cape Saunders Road near Papanui Inlet. He also sought retrospective approval for breaching conditions of his original consent. The Commissioner declined Clearwater's application after hearing from concerned Otago Peninsula residents and visiting the quarry. Clearwater can still operate the quarry under his original consent, which is likely to be subject to more rigorous monitoring by the Council. Plans are in place to improve the city's energy efficiency while growing business and tourism. That's supported by the Grow Dunedin Partnership, and Chairman Chris Daines joins us to explain. Good evening.
Good evening.
What is the Draft Energy Plan?
Draft Energy Plan sits under our economic development strategy, and it outlines 4 major areas that we want to focus our efforts on in order to improve Dunedin's use of energy and also to reduce our carbon footprint.
How is energy use in the city changing?
Well, technology is having a big effect on energy use. So, for instance, a long time ago we used to use incandescent light bulbs, then we moved towards the fluorescents, and now we're moving into LED. There's also the heat pumps. You know, a lot of people used to use coal fires. Now we use very high efficiency heat pumps, which use a lot less energy to generate the same amount of heat.
Has Council done anything before to increase our efficiency with energy?
Yes, we've had individual actions, but never had the linking of those actions together and the linking with a lot of other people who can help bring those to fruition.
How will it boost tourism?
Well, the piece that boosts that is, of course, our Night Sky City plan, and that came about fortuitously because as a city we run a lot of street lights, and most of those are sodium vapour. And you probably notice when you look up in the sky, particularly on a cloudy night, how yellow the clouds look or if you're a wee bit of distance from the city, you see this big yellow glow. Well, all of that glow comes from lost light. So all of those light fittings now are at the end of their life, and we have the opportunity to replace them with LEDs. And the benefit of that is that firstly, we will use a lot less energy, but secondly, it gives us the opportunity to shield those lights so the stray light doesn't get out into the night sky. And then we can see our stars and our aurora.
Oh, that would be something to definitely look forward to. What are the potential business benefits?
Well, for businesses, particularly, energy is a significant input cost. So some of our businesses that use very large amounts of energy have already got the necessary information and technology to start making changes to their energy usage. So for instance, we have many megawatts of generation, both in heat and electricity in the city, that comes from wood chip, a sustainable fuel that's replaced either oil or coal. So it lowers the cost of the business and it lowers their carbon footprint, and for a lot of businesses, being sustainable and not damaging the environment is part of their marketing.
Who are some of the organisations that are involved in this?
Some of the big ones that sit around the table and are partners to it are the Chamber of Commerce, the Employers Association, the University, the Polytechnic, Otago. So there's some big players here in the city's economy, but then there's also some of the big businesses who are starting to join in.
Are any other cities in New Zealand doing this?
There are other cities who are looking at their climate change footprint and at other aspects of it, but I think we're the first city to have done a baseline for our energy usage, and that was undertaken by the Chamber of Commerce, who worked with the university and a researcher there to actually give us an idea of just how much energy we use in each of its forms in the city, and that then gives us an opportunity to say, well, where should we focus our attention?
Grow Dunedin Partnership and Chairman Chris Staines, thank you very much for your time.
Very welcome.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, city athletes train for a national competition with their eye on the international stage, and there's no stopping the popularity of the BMX as hundreds hit the track for the first time.
Do you want support for your breathing? You are not alone. In New Zealand, over 600,000 people have some form of breathing difficulty, especially with the high pollen season in New Zealand. Puff Plus is an excellent natural product developed to support lung function and breathing difficulties. Puff Plus is so effective, you get a no questions asked, money back guarantee on the first purchase. Give it a go, you have nothing to lose. Call now, 0800 502 402. Take as directed. If symptoms persist, see your healthcare professional.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
I understand now how economics can affect global warming.
And I found out how grass growth in New Zealand affects Fashion Week in Milan.
I can even tell you how smartphone technology affects the survival of mountain gorillas.
Sorry.
Because at the Otago Business School, it's not just about the world of business, it's how business affects the world.
I'm Kim. Michaela.
David. And this is our place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Pellet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pellet fires, so easy, so efficient.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boy store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices is just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, your guaranteed a treat.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Obviously, as the Department of Corrections, our primary focus is on ensuring public safety. Corrections facilities or prisons are almost self-sufficient communities in our own right. For some prisons, putting in interventions, giving them options as far as interventions go that are designed around making them more positive members of the community when they return to it.
Welcome back. Local bodybuilders are gearing up for the National Championships following success in the South Island event. About 50 athletes put on a show for the annual competition, held in Dunedin for the 5th consecutive year, and some hope to be selected to flex on the international stage.
Putting their back out for the top spot. These athletes show off their sculpted physiques to gain titles at the South Island Bodybuilding Championships. The Otago-dominated contest is a major stepping stone towards the national competition next month.
We are the last show before Nationals, and everyone has to compete in a regional and qualify in the top 3 to compete in Nationals. So Nationals are the next show, so obviously everyone's like in their top condition, ready to go for Nationals, hoping they'll qualify. And the judges have just said to me that the calibre is really impressive. The quality of athletes here is just amazing.
This is the 5th year Dunedin's hosted the South Islands after Sinclair asked the National Association if Otago could have its own bodybuilding show. She says the event's a huge success with people of all ages getting involved.
We've had people in the 60 plus, 50 plus range, right through to students who can hardly afford to go through tertiary education, let alone try and compete. So we've got people from, and teenage boys, junior men, which they'll be only about 15 years old. So a huge range of calibre of people, and senior women, senior figure women, they'll be over 55, 56 years old, so like myself.
Local competitor Shannon Booth teaches health, sport and physical education at Bayfield High School. She's won the overall Miss Figure and Miss South Island titles and says the contest's given her an opportunity to prove she can do whatever she puts her mind to.
I actually started to do the whole bodybuilding thing to prove a few people wrong. I suffer from a condition called fibromyalgia, which is like having arthritis in your muscles almost. It's like a chronic pain thing. And so I was told to do things like aqua jogging and yoga and stuff like that, and avoid contact sports and heavy weights and that kind of thing.
Several local bodybuilders are preparing to represent Otago at the Nationals, and Sinclair hopes at least 6 will be chosen for a 30-strong New Zealand team competing in the International Universe Championships. That'll be held in the Philippines in November. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
The city's BMX season is off to a record start with more than 100 young riders hitting the track for the first time. The preschool and primary riders are participating in the local club's annual BMX Schools Challenge, and older members are preparing for their first major competition.
Taking to the track like pros. Due to the growing popularity of BMX, the local club is again holding a schools challenge. That's seeing 130 children between 2 and 11 years old experience a racing environment. And club president Simon Heptonstall says it's a chance for kids to practice their foundling skills.
Basically learning bike skills again, or getting onto a bike for the first time, getting onto a BMX track and having a bit of fun really and a race as well.
These young riders aren't just tackling the course but also the elements, with rain making things a bit more difficult. But Heptonstall says Dunedin's changeable weather is all part of the fun, and it isn't deterring anyone from hopping onto their bikes.
We finished last season with 80 signed up members. We're easily going to probably push above 100 this season. And we'll get a few riders off of this event today who are keen, and they'll want to carry on.
Heptonstall says this event is all about encouraging good sportsmanship within a BMX competition environment. And he hopes in coming years the club will have the means to host more events.
Pushing to hopefully for a new site within Dunedin so we can expand, have a higher level, so we're going to go for a 5-metre start ramp, have a pro straight so we can actually increase the riders' abilities and probably compete against the North Island people a bit more.
This year's BMX season is just beginning, with the club's first major competition to be held in a couple of weeks in Christchurch. Something for these youngsters to aspire to. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. Motorists are no longer able to turn across the southern motorway at Lookout Point, where an overbridge will soon open up access. The City Council is being warned about the risks of online voting as the government plans a trial for next year's local body elections. And hundreds of residents are uniting in the name of peace with an inaugural festival that's the first of its kind in the country. Well, it's time now to find out what's going to be on the pages of Tuesday's Otago Daily Times, and we're joined by Barry Stewart. Good evening.
Hello, Rebecca. Former Invermay boss, Jock Ellison, has put fresh calls in for Ag Research to halt plans to relocate jobs from Dunedin. The organisation is said to be preparing to cut 90 jobs nationwide. DCC votes on online voting. We'll have the result. Well, we know the result. We'll have more detail on that. And police have praised the behaviour of people who got up early and went to watch the All Blacks Argentina match at Dunedin bars. Apparently they're on their best behaviour. So were you amongst that lot?
I was not, unfortunately.
I haven't even seen it. And forget London's West End or Broadway. The best place to see Phantom of the Opera is
right here in Dunedin.
Dunedin's Regent Theatre, correct. We've done a vox pop of people who have been to the show and they rave about it. So
vox pop.
Vox pop,
Ooh,
yes,
bit of jargon
technical
there.
term.
I've heard great things about that show.
Yeah, it's going really well apparently, and it's all local people, so that's fantastic, isn't it? Just shows you what talent we have in the city.
Absolutely.
Unrecognised. Historic Dunedin building has been demolished today to make way for student accommodation, so we have a story on that, and lots of sport, all the wrap up of the recent World Cup matches and everything else that's happening in sport.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Barry.
Thank you.
Well, it's time now for local weather. And it wasn't too warm around the city today, as you may have noticed, with 9 degrees recorded downtown and 10 at both the Gardens and on the Tyree. This cooler weather, unfortunately, is expected to continue for another day or so, and then it turns to rain again. So let's just focus on tonight. Cloudy periods with a low of 5. Tomorrow, sunny periods, northeast winds, and we're going for 12 degrees. And as I say, the showers do return on Wednesday, so we won't go into those details just now. Well, to the Otago Pallet Fires tidal and fishing information, and high tide tomorrow morning is at 10:15. Low tide follows at 5:10. And fishing conditions look pretty terrible tomorrow, so we recommend that you go to work instead. Well, that's all from the team here at 39 Dunedin News for Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.